Graham Plattner. Yikes, man. Yikes. Everything has fallen apart for him. And this is what happens when you're in that Democratic Party. A party full of snakes, a party full of backstabbers. Mm. So to give you a little background, this Plattner fella has been in a considerable amount of controversy recently. And on Monday, a girl comes out and a former girlfriend, I believe, comes out and accuses him of sexual assault. She says that he showed up at her house drunk, forced himself on her, and that was the end of their relationship. So, obviously, being a part of the Democratic Party, being a part of the Me Too party, this is obviously going to result in what inevitably was Graham Plattner being pushed into leaving the race. Now, to give you a little background on this race, which is the Maine Senate race, I'm not sure if I've mentioned that yet. A major, major Maine Senate race, because this is a race where we have a Republican incumbent, but the Democrats have a very, very solid chance of flipping that seat this year. So they need a candidate who is going to win. But Graham Plattner, was polling at nearly, not polling, he won the Democratic primary by nearly 80% of the vote. There was no legitimate competition to this guy. But now these allegations come out. He is pushed into a position where he has to leave the upcoming race. And now the Democratic Party is taking it upon themselves to replace him. And this just is a lesson in what the Democratic Party is. I'm not going to say whether I believe these allegations are true or false, because honestly, I have absolutely no idea. I have no clue if this woman is being honest, but that's kind of the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. Remember all that stuff that came out against Trump? Well, there was never any legitimacy to it, so the Republicans just kind of said, fuck you. And he ran and won anyways. Because, it's a party that actually has at least some expectation of legitimacy to these allegations, because I would imagine most conservative men in this nation understand what false allegations can do. And it's something that has been a major topic of debate over the last couple decades after we've seen the lives of countless men get destroyed by allegations that were later on proven to be completely bullshit. But in the Democratic Party, it works a little different. A woman says something and they treat it like it's gospel because I mean they don't have a gospel of their own. They don't have any moral truth. So why would they behave in a moral way? They don't wait for a guy to get shown whether or not it's true or not. No, he's ousted now. A guy who again, he was running as a Democratic populist. He was on the more extremities of the left wing, and now he's booted because of these allegations. Again, the guy kind of looks kind of sleazy. I wouldn't be shocked if they were true. In no way would I be surprised if they were true. But then again, I also wouldn't be surprised at all if they were false. We've all seen the way that women behave in this feminist utopia. That's the situation you get yourself into when you do all this believe all women crap. And now Graham Plattner has fallen victim to the very believe all women movement that was started by the party that he is a part of. So congratulations there. You cucked yourself, buddy. So yeah, kind of funny, but now the Democrats are going to choose and nominate who will run, and the two leading names right now are Mr. Troy Jackson and Dan Clavin. Now, Troy Jackson is more aligned with Graham Plattner, that populist, more extreme side of the left. So he could easily get picked because he is more of a representation of what the party wants. Now, on the other side, we have Dan Clavin, also a decently radical leftist, but he's more aligned with the establishment Democrats. Wouldn't be shocked to see it go either way. Now, what we've learned from the Democratic Party is they will often tailor to the more establishment-based candidate when they're choosing. I mean, look at what happened in 2024 when they chose Kamala Harris, and that was because of her establishment backing. So that is giving Dan Claben a little bit of a lead here. Now we'll see. Maybe they learn from that and decide to go with the more populist route and Troy Jackson to try to secure this election. But again, this is going to be very major because obviously there's an expectation of somewhat of a blue wave in these 2026 elections, and we've already been seeing it with these radical leftists winning Democratic primaries across the nation. There is this expectation of a massive blue wave. But because of the seats that are actually up for election, there are a couple of races that are crucial for the Democrats to win to hit either the 50 goal or the 51, which is the official goal of the Democratic Party in this upcoming cycle. It's to hit 51 members in the Senate. And to even hit 50, Maine is almost a necessity because that is a seat that they would have to flip. I believe I believe the big 3 seats are Michigan, which they need to retain, Ohio, which they need to flip, and Maine, which they need to flip. So this is massive news and will create a pretty im create a big shakeup in a race which we will see a lot of investment in. So also expect to see a significant push of investment from the Democratic Party into whatever candidate they end up choosing. And we'll see how long that takes. But it's going to have to happen. I believe they have I want to say they have about 20 days to make a decision. So we will see how that pans out.